Have you ever felt defeated? You're not alone.
We must experience pressures.
Now find out how to fight back using the laws of the secret kingdom.
Keep on asking. Keep on seeking. Keep on knocking. And if you do, you will win. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the 700 Club. We have some immutable principles for you that'll change your life. You don't want to miss the teaching from the secret kingdom. But going to the Middle East, today Israelis celebrate what they call Jerusalem Day. What happened on this day? In 1967, Israel recaptured the holy city for the first time in over 2,000 years.
But you know, Pat, more than 40 years later, many people say that Israel should actually divide Jerusalem with the Palestinians. But as Chris Mitchell reports, Israel leader says no.
Jerusalem must never again be divided. Jerusalem must remain the united capital of Israel.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made his position on Jerusalem clear before the Congress and the world. But others want to divide the city. Later this year, the Palestinian Authority leader Mahmoud Abbas plans to take his case directly to the United Nations. His request? A Palestinian state with the eastern half of Jerusalem as its capital. But is there more under the surface?
We know that the goal of the Arabs is not just to have Eastern Jerusalem. The goal, which the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, has said over all the decades it's existed, is they want to wipe Israel off the map.
Chaim Silberstein leads a group committed to keep Jerusalem under Israeli sovereignty. He says dividing the city would harm both Jews and Christians.
Jerusalem is the cradle of Jewish civilization. Jerusalem is the heart of the Jewish people and the heart of the state of Israel. It is also very important for the Christian world, and forcing us to give away these areas would first of all delete and disconnect the whole of the Christian world as well as the Jewish world from the very essence of their faith and their belief.
The fate of Jerusalem often centers around the future of the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount is the holiest place in the world for the Jewish people, the site of the first and the second temples, the last one destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Now the Temple Mount is under Muslim religious control. Recently, CBN News was given a rare look on the Temple Mount and inside both the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock.
It's the center of the universe, and this is where everything revolves around. If we manage to solve the issue of the holy places in Jerusalem, then there'll no longer be a Middle East problem.
Alan Baker participated in the Camp David talks of 2000. The stumbling block was the Temple Mount.
One of the reasons that they fell through was because of the issue of sovereignty over the holy places. Arafat wanted Palestinian sovereignty. Israel wanted Israeli sovereignty.
Those talks fell apart, and now more than 10 years later, Jerusalem stands in the center of the argument. Many believe what happens here will affect not only the Middle East, but the world. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. Jesus Christ gave a prophecy that we've all been looking at. It's very important. He said, and I quote, "Jerusalem shall be trodden underfoot of her enemies until the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled." Well, on this day in 1967, that prophecy came true. The Jews were no longer outside of their holy city, but they took control of Jerusalem in that war, and it was no longer trodden underfoot of the Gentiles. Well, the devil wants to destroy that prophecy, because if that prophecy can't come to pass, then Jesus can't come back in a sense. But God says, I've put my holy city and my name is on Jerusalem. And if you look back in history, you find that David, King David, bought that piece of property, that Temple Mount. I think he paid 600 shekels of silver for it. And he bought it from a fellow named Araunah. And he said, from then on out, it's his, and it belonged to Israel, it belongs to God. And the Jews should never give it up. And that's going to be the last sticking point. You read Zechariah, that's going to be the stumbling point. They will not give up. And I applaud Benjamin Netanyahu for hanging tough on this one. Baby, don't give it up. It was given by God. Well, Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Lee?
Pat, President Obama meets with House Republicans today to talk about raising the government's debt ceiling so it can borrow more money. Republicans are demanding trillions of dollars in spending cuts before they'll vote to raise the debt limit.
John Boehner has said something like, for every dollar we're going to raise the debt ceiling, maybe we should have a dollar cut in spending. There's got to be something of that magnitude in order to justify raising the debt ceiling at this point.
Indeed, more than 150 economists support that position, according to a letter released by House Speaker John Boehner. Pat, do you agree?
Well, of course I do. You know, this is amazing that Obama said, I want an up and down, I want a clean vote. Well, give me a clean bill with nothing else on it. So Boehner says, okay, I'll give you a clean bill. We'll raise the debt ceiling. Here it is. So they put it up for a vote, overwhelmingly defeated, with a lot of Democrats voting against raising the debt ceiling without any preconditions. Well, that's what Obama asked for. He got it, and then he started backtracking. He says, no, that's not really what I wanted. Well, it is. But they can't raise the debt ceiling, keep on spending money. That's all it is. It's kind of like you loosen up the girdle so you can eat more food. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's what the Democrats want to do. They don't want to stop spending. Lee?
Home prices fell for the 8th straight month, and many economists believe we haven't hit bottom yet.
It's quite possible that home prices will be 10–20% lower in 10 years, correcting for inflation.
Foreclosures and a glut of unsold houses are pushing values down, and many prospective homeowners do not have the money to meet the new down payment requirements. That's leaving more houses on the market. Pat?
Well, Lee, this is the biggest part of our economy. You know, that's the biggest investment most families make is in their home. And to see that investment lose up to 25–30% of its value, of or at least what they paid for it, is a shock. And that is feeding into the fact that the unemployment rate is hovering around 9%. There has not been a recovery like they normally expect after this. And the problem is the administration has made nothing but bad decisions. And they have attacked the enterprise, they have attacked the rich, they've attacked the people who create wealth. They have done this, and then they said, oh, no, we're really pro-business, but they're not. And as a result, there has not been much job creation, and the economy's in the tank. Well, coming into the election, I remember James Carville in that election where he said, it's the economy, stupid, and lo and behold, a war hero who had won the first Gulf War was defeated by an upstart governor, ex-governor from Arkansas, because it was the economy. And that's going to be the dominant issue in this coming election. Lee?
The Supreme Court ruled that former Attorney General John Ashcroft cannot be sued by an American Muslim arrested after 9/11. The High Court ruled that Ashcroft did not violate the constitutional rights of this man, Abdullah Al-Kid. He was arrested in 2003, but never charged with a crime. The Supreme Court reversed an appeals court ruling saying Ashcroft could be liable for his role in that arrest. Scientists say there could be a link between cell phones and cancer. They reviewed dozens of existing studies and declared mobile devices to be possibly carcinogenic. People who used cell phones for more than 10 years had double the rate of glioma, a rare type of brain tumor. The evidence is not conclusive. Still, the WHO and the American Cancer Society say it's important to take practical steps to reduce exposure.
So you really want to limit their time, have them do texting more, use an earpiece or a speakerphone. Those are just simple things to do.
The group representing the cell phone industry is quick to point out that pickled vegetables and coffee were once thought to be possibly carcinogenic. 20,000 people are said to be homeless 1 week after that devastating tornado in Joplin, Missouri. And as Dale Hurd tells us, it's been difficult for them to find shelter.
Where do you live when a tornado destroys your home? Holly Fleming was fortunate to have family nearby.
I had to get a roof over their heads.
She and 10 of her children and grandkids went to her mother's house as she competed with other bidders for a few highly prized rentals.
I said, I'll pay you a year in advance.
And all her money from a nest egg was gone. The tornado flattened 30% of Joplin, destroying an estimated 8,000 buildings. Most of the homeless are with friends and family, others in hotels or shelters. Rebuilding Joplin will take years, and many residents need a roof over their heads now. This Joplin real estate office has been inundated by desperate callers.
They were just desperate. They said, we have to have this house. We have to. There's nowhere else to go.
Local hotels fully booked.
We've probably turned away, I would say, at least between phone calls and people walking in the door, at least 100 people a day.
But this hotel employee made an extraordinary offer.
And we're willing to open up our home to anybody that might need a place.
It's so bad the Federal Emergency Management Agency is considering putting residents in housing over 50 miles away.
This, in my experience, is the most intensely devastating disaster that I've ever seen.
FEMA says it will also consider bringing in trailers, as it did for New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, if enough homes are not available. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
And Pat, of course, Operation Blessing is there, offering help to a lot of folks. Maybe some of the homes were not totally destroyed, and they're trying to cover their roofs with tarp to make sure that they're waterproof at least.
Lee, as that lady said, it's the worst disaster. It's probably one of the worst natural disasters we've ever had in this country. At least it's more intense. They're bigger ones. Katrina was much bigger in scope, but this thing is more intense. It is unbelievable. Well, Operation Blessing is there. And we are giving food, bedding, diapers, hygiene items. We're assisting in debris removal. We have a front-end loader. We've got trucks. We've got other things in there, especially with chainsaws to help take these limbs off of people's houses. But what you see, there's nothing there. We're helping the ones that have a little something left that we can help them fix up. But folks, if you want to help, I mean, it's terrible. It's this Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund, CBN Center. Call 1-800-759-0700, Disaster Relief Fund. The need is great for those people in Joplin. It is shocking what's happened this year.
I know. And the thing that's so bad is, obviously many of them lost their homes, but their livelihood as well. Exactly. It's like everything is gone. Well, God bless them. We'll just continue to pray and help. Well, up next, some call him the face of modern Islam. Others say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
What he's talking about is not the caliphate, is not the Sharia state. He calls it the New World Islamic Order.
Just who is Fethullah Gulen and what's he doing in the Poconos? Well, find out coming up. And later on the 700 Club, we're going to bring it online with your questions for Pat. So all you got to do is just log on to CBN.com because our chat room is open just for you, so we can't wait. Hop on the computer right now.
Still ahead, Mr. Pure Energy. International pop sensation Gary Valenciano performs live. Later on today's 700 Club.
Stop throwing your hard-earned cash in the trash and make life easier with the Food Saver Vacuum Sealing System. It could save you up to $2,700 a year. Ordinary zipper bags and plastic wrap trap air inside, and air is the enemy of freshness. The Food Saver system takes air out and keeps it out, preventing freezer burn. You can buy in economical bulk sizes, knowing the extra stays fresh up to 5 times longer. With its upright design and its fully automatic operation, it's never been easier to keep your food fresh. And for a limited time, go online to www.buyfoodsavernow.com to download these free coupons for instant savings of $10 off any Food Saver appliance and $2 off any bag or roll. There has never been a better time to start saving food and money with the Food Saver System, America's #1 vacuum sealing system. Available wherever small kitchen appliances are sold.
Tomorrow.
Some people use tears. I didn't trust tears.
A seminary student with a double life.
I had my private world and my real world.
Hear his secret.
I felt like I'm only one step away from being found out.
And his shame.
I would actually carve those words into my body. Loser, failure, rejected.
Tomorrow on the 700 Club.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce you to a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's been called the world's top public intellectual and the face of moderate Islam. Yet others have branded Fethullah Gulen a wolf in sheep's clothing and a modern-day Ayatollah Khomeini. So was he? And why is he here in the Poconos? Eric Stakelbeck takes a closer look at the reclusive imam.
He's held court with a pope and received praise from an American president.
You're contributing to the promotion of the ideals of tolerance and interfaith dialogue, inspired by Fethullah Gulen.
Fethullah Gulen's story takes him from a small town in Turkey to founder of a multi-billion-dollar Islamic movement bearing his name. Despite a grade school level education, this Turkish imam leads a worldwide following of some 5 million devotees. They refer to him as Hoca Effendi, or master teacher.
What is the end goal of this movement, which constitute multi-billion dollar of a budget?
That's a question many are asking. Gulen claims to represent a moderate brand of Islam that is compatible with the modern world. It emphasizes interfaith dialogue and the pursuit of science. Yet one expert told CBN News there's much more to the story.
It's not just a religious movement, it's Fethullah Gulen movement. They call themselves that. So it is, you can say, a cult. You can say a highly personalized movement.
Middle East analyst Ariel Cohen tracks the Gulen movement closely.
What he's talking about is not the caliphate, is not the Sharia state. He calls it the New World Islamic Order.
Cohen says some in the U.S. government and academia support reaching out to Gulen's followers as a way to counter al-Qaeda and other jihadist groups.
The idea being, and just like people who say we should have a good relationship with Muslim Brotherhood, the idea is that these are mainstream Islamists.
Critics claim Gulen wants Islam to play a more active role in societies, breaking down barriers between mosque and state while also promoting Turkish nationalism and identity. This is the global headquarters of the Fethullah Gulen movement. Gulen himself lives here over 25 spacious acres. But this isn't Istanbul or Ankara. This is rural Pennsylvania in the heart of the Pocono Mountains. The Golden Generation Worship and Retreat Center sounds like a ski lodge and looks the part. CBN News toured the compound with a staffer, but we were not permitted to film or meet Fethullah Gulen. The 70-year-old leader is in poor health and rarely gives interviews. He came to America in 1998, reportedly to seek medical treatment. Since then, he's directed his global empire from Pennsylvania. A federal judge granted him a green card in 2008. Shortly after he left for America, a series of secretly recorded sermons featuring Gulen aired on Turkish television. In one of them, he told his followers, "You must move in the arteries of the system without anyone noticing your existence until you reach all the power centers. You must wait for the time when you are complete and conditions are ripe until we can shoulder the entire world and carry it. You must wait until such time as you have gotten all the state power, until you have brought to your side all the power of the constitutional institutions in Turkey." After the tapes aired, Turkish authorities indicted Gulen on charges that he was plotting to overthrow the secular government of Turkey. The charges were eventually dropped, and the Gulen movement continues to expand its influence through the construction of schools worldwide, including in America. There's about 125 Gulen charter schools spread out across 25 states. This Gulen school in Philadelphia receives $3 million annually in taxpayer money.
They work through the education system. Their main tool is educating kids.
Gulen charter schools have nondescript names like True Bright Science Academy and focus heavily on math and science. Many of the teachers hail from Turkey. Federal authorities are reportedly investigating whether some employees kicked back a portion of their salaries to the Gulen movement. Classified documents released by WikiLeaks show that U.S. officials have concerns about the Gulen schools. The U.S. Embassy in Ankara stated, "We have multiple reliable reports that the Gulenists use their school network, including dozens of schools in the U.S., to cherry-pick students they think are susceptible to being molded as proselytizers. And we have steadily heard reports about how the schools indoctrinate boarding students." Meanwhile, in its birthplace of Turkey, the movement continues to grow. Gulenists are said to make up at least 70% of the federal police force, devoted to their master teacher half a world away in the Pocono Mountains. Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News, Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania.
Incredible. Something that you've never heard about. I have never heard about. Have you ever?
I never have, but you know what? That's why I love CBN News, because we're always bringing
Eric is getting you stories you'll never hear anyplace else. But, you know, they say, you know, one fellow said, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not trying to get you. I mean, it sounds like you're paranoid. All right, Christy, what's next?
Well, all right. Are you feeling down? Well, if you are, I want you to stay tuned. Why? Because Pat is going to show you how to keep on keeping on until you get your breakthrough. How is he going to do that? Well, he's going to teach us about the law of perseverance from his special Secret Kingdom series. That's coming up next.
We want you to qualify to be the next $50,000 home makeover winner. Pick up the phone and get ready to start dialing when the number appears on your screen. Call the number on your screen now and we'll mail you a key. If your key opens the lock in your local Direct Buy Club, you'll be the next $50,000 home makeover winner. Operators are standing by, so call right now. Direct Buy Club has already awarded over $1 million, and someone is going to win the $50,000 home makeover. Why not you? If the phone number is blinking, the phone lines are open. Call now to receive your key and an invitation to your local Direct Buy Club, where members can save thousands or more paying low direct from the source prices on big-ticket items like kitchen cabinets, home furnishings, flooring, bathroom fixtures, and so much more. Call now and get your key to winning a $50,000 home makeover. Someone is going to win the $50,000 home makeover. Why not you?
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come visit Capernaum, where Jesus restored a paralytic's helpless legs. Sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus walked on the water. Stroll through the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus healed a servant's ear. To learn more about standing where it all happened, in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Well, we've all heard the phrase, keep on, keeping on. Listen, it's more than just a phrase. There's actually wisdom in those words that can help us all get not only out of a rut, but really just take us to that next level in our life. But, you know, as it also says, reach maximum potential. Well, Pat explains more about what he calls the law of perseverance in this segment from The Secret Kingdom.
We're continuing our discussion today about the secret kingdom. I've talked to you about two primary laws of the kingdom. One is the law of use, which I consider the fundamental, foundational law of human growth and development. The second is the law of reciprocity, which deals with all of human relationships. It's based on what's called the golden rule. Do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. And it just applies to a broad range of human endeavor. But what else is important in what Jesus told us to do to achieve maximum development? What is the key? Because these are keys to the development that you want, to a rich, fulfilling life. What do you want? How do you have it? Well, he talked about something that's extremely important, and that has to do with perseverance. You don't necessarily get what you want the first time out. You know, we just think that God's going to hand us something right out of heaven that's going to come down out of heaven, and that we'll just have some epiphany and suddenly all these riches will come to us. Doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And Jesus gave an important teaching to us which deals with your relationship to God. Now, there are some people that tell you, you name it, you claim it. You pray once, anything beyond that is lack of faith. That just isn't what Jesus told. Jesus told it this way, and it's what I call the law of perseverance. He says, keep on, he used the Greek present tense, keep on asking, keep on seeking, keep on knocking. It isn't something you do one time. You keep on, and keep on. When I was a youngster, I worked on a farm a couple summers, very hard work. But one of the things that I had the joy of doing was watching a hen set on some eggs. It's a thrill to see little baby chicks born, and they run around the barnyard pecking to try to get themselves something to eat. But think about the chick. The little baby is nurtured inside of a shell, and in the shell are necessary nutrients so it can grow. But that little chick begins to grow and grow. A point is reached when he or she gets so big that shell begins to be, instead of a place of security, it becomes a place of confinement. And that happens to all of us. We come to a certain level of achievement, and suddenly the boundaries that are there begin to confine us. Certainly a young child, you put them in a crib, then they outgrow the crib, then you get a youth bed, then they outgrow the youth bed, and before long they want a big boy bed or something, and you have to buy them a new bed so they can have some room to grow. Well, that chick wants room to grow, but at that stage of development, it's not capable of surviving in the outside world because it's too weak. So what happens? It begins to peck at the shell that encompasses it, the shell that has actually protected it, the shell that has kept it safe from outside influences and has provided the cover for the nourishment that it has to grow. But it begins to peck, and nothing happens, and it begins to peck more. And as it pecks, its muscles grow stronger, its beak grows stronger, and before long, if it perseveres, it will break that shell, and suddenly it pops out, and here's this fluffy little yellow creature, you know, scurrying around and going beep, 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 and you think, well, isn't he cute? Well, that's what you see at Easter time, at least we used to. But that's the way it works. But those of you who've worked on a farm, I know you wanted to help the hen along. You wanted to help that little chick come out. And so you broke the egg. You say, well, I'm going to help him. I'm going to break the egg. And what happens? The little thing isn't strong enough to survive, and it just flops out dead. You've killed it. Instead of helping it, you've hurt it. So it is with the Lord. We have to persevere. We have to struggle. There's a struggle involved in our life. We struggle against obstacles. That's one of the factors that's built in to the human experience. And if we are not able to persevere, we will lose. There are many people. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He went bankrupt any number of times. He lost several elections. He was ridiculed and humiliated. And out of that experience, he grew stronger and stronger and stronger than before it was finished. He became one of the great presidents of the United States. But how did it happen? It happened through adversity. The Apostle Paul, writing to the early Christians, said, you must realize that you must go through pressure. The word in Greek is thalipsis, and that has been translated tribulation, but it means pressure. We must experience pressures. And as we surmount the pressures, we gain more material strength, we gain more physical strength, and we gain more faith. Our faith grows as we overcome obstacles. And if the Lord really loves us, He will not just hand it to us on a silver platter. He won't do it. He will cause us to have obstacles. The great athletes, you know, the people who are the weightlifters in this world, they lift against pressure. They lift against weights. That's what the whole idea of working out in the gym is. They're a group of weights, and you push those weights. And as you push them, your muscles grow stronger. And as you get to a certain level, then you grow another level and another level and another level. But if you quit at the first level, that's as far as you're going to go. So God has set in the universe an order of things that involves perseverance. We have to persevere against obstacles. We have to persevere against ridicule, against economic crises. And those who persevere are the ones that win. That's true in business. It's true in sports. It's true in whatever endeavor you want to involve yourself in. Now, the law of use, I've indicated, is the fundamental law of human growth and development. You know, the exponential curve, little by little, you add more and more and more. And as you do that, you get more experience. But if any time you quit, how many people have quit on diets? You start, oh my goodness, I think everybody in the audience, you know what it's like. Comes New Year's, I am going to lose weight. You know, I'm going to the gym. How many unused gym memberships are there? How many people have those things that Body by Jake sells down in the garage, you know, with dust on them? You use them for a few weeks or a month and you grow tired of them, you don't do it. The people who gain are those who persevere. Keep on asking. Keep on seeking. Keep on knocking. And if you do, you will win. Now, Jesus told a story, it's a wonderful story, about a judge. He was an unjust judge. He was corrupt. He was bribed. He was a terrible person. And yet there was this widow lady who came to him asking for justice. Well, this judge wasn't interested in justice. He wanted to get money. She didn't have any money. But she came to him anyhow and said, I want justice. And the judge basically says, get away from me, you old hag. I don't want to talk to you. She came back again, knocking, knocking. But, Your Honor, I've got to have justice. This landlord is taking advantage of me. I need some money. I need some help. Help me. The judge says, no, no, no. And then before long, he finally told his clerk, he said, look, give the old lady whatever she asked for. I can't stand it. She's driving me crazy coming along. And Jesus said it wasn't because of the righteousness of her cause. It wasn't because of the kindness of the judge. It was because of her importunity. And he says, when you pray, that's how you pray. You pray importunity. You don't stop. You besiege heaven. The kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. Those who just say, I will not give up. Like Jacob, who was wrestling with an angel all night long. He said, I'm not going to let you go till you bless me. If you get that attitude, you're going to be a winner. And if you give up too soon, you're going to be a loser. The law of perseverance.
Well, I like it. I tell you what, that word encouraged me, and we pray that it encouraged you as well. We're going to continue to bring you more segments from the Secret Kingdom in weeks to come. And but listen, if that really ministered to you like it ministered to us and our studio audience, you can actually log on to cbn.com. You can watch the entire segment again. You can even hit a couple buttons and send it to a friend and share it with everybody who you can think of. So once again, log on to cbn.com, and that's something that you can just spread around the world, because it was really good. I like that chick analogy. That was a really good analogy.
You've had some trials, and
I had big time trials. That's why I was all
perseverance.
Come on, brother. That's why I'm still smiling. Yeah.
That's why you're so strong.
Yeah. It's true. But you know, honest to goodness, when you were talking about the egg and you said, you know, when the chick, if you try to break it, then the chick isn't going to be strong enough, it's going to die. But, you know, through pecking and pecking and pecking, eventually the chick's going to be strong enough and and be able to handle what the world has. And really, that's what our Christian walk is like.
Well,
We got to peck and peck and peck.
I mean, stable. You know, people who have won a lottery, for example, they're not prepared for it. I mean, it ruins them. Why does it ruin them? Because they are strength.
They're unprepared.
I mean, you know, somebody dumps $3 or $4 million upon me, it's not going to make any difference one way or the other.
Me either, Pat. So I'm just like, give it to me. I'll show you I can handle it. I will handle
it. Don't do it, it'll hurt her.
No, it will not.
You know, the average person, you put $1 million on, and they're ruined.
That's true.
Ruined.
I know.
All right.
Okay.
I want to show you somebody who wasn't ruined because he did it right. John Licky has been putting the law of perseverance into practice for 60 years. Little by little, John has turned his small farm into a huge enterprise. But perseverance is not the only secret kingdom law John has followed. Just take a look.
John Licky is 85 and still goes to work bright and early every morning. He's co-owner of the family business Licky Enterprises, one of the biggest farming operations in the Great Plains. They grow wheat, corn, soybeans, and sunflowers on their 17,000 acres in 9 states. He loves to share the secret of his success, his relationship with God.
I took him as my partner about 60 years ago, and he's always been with me all the way through, and he's a great God.
When John and his wife Fern started farming, they had 480 acres. Before their first crop even came in, he prayed.
I said, Lord, I need help on this. I would like to have you help me in this farming venture. And I made a commitment to the Lord that I'd give him 20% of whatever profits I could make.
Their business grew, and so did their giving.
We started out with 20%, and we've grown that to 30, 40, sometimes 50% some years. I think the Lord's put us in bright places and helped us to grow.
He speaks from experience when he encourages others to make giving a priority.
You can't outgive the Lord.
Boy, now he's persevered, and he's also put into the law of reciprocity. These laws work together in the secret kingdom, and he did it. Now, we have something for you. If you join the 700 Club, we want to send you Life Beyond the Grave. It is a DVD of all the people we have shown who have died, either gone to hell and heaven and come back to tell us about it. These are fabulous stories. And we also have the little DVD is like this. And for those who join the 1,000 Club, we will give you 5 of these things so you can give them to your friends, because this is something that a friend, you don't have to preach to them. Just say, put this in your machine.
Come on.
And watch it.
Absolutely.
That's all you got to do.
That's it.
And it'll tell you about what's there. I was talking to somebody. She said, I was at a hair salon, and the hairdresser said, I watched that one about hair. And he said, it, quote, scared the hell out of me. Well, I mean, that's what we were trying to do.
Well, because it was about hell, but yeah, I think that's the only time we can use that.
Scare it out of them. We scare it out of them or win it out of them. So anyway, we'll send this to you. Life Beyond the Grave if you join the 700 Club. So call in, 65 cents a day. We've got a real treat for you. One of the great musicians, singers, pop stars in the entire world is going to be with us.
I tell you what, this morning I kept playing his CD over and over and over again. His name is Gary Valenciano, and he is the pop star who is just phenomenal. He joins us live. Yay! Plus, he's actually going to perform a song from his latest CD right here on the 700 Club.
Our world moves at an incredible pace, but there's a destiny that awaits each one of us, and all of us will face life's ultimate question: where will I spend eternity?
In Life Beyond the Grave, you'll meet real people who've experienced heaven and hell and have a powerful witnessing tool to share with others.
I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your destiny is sealed forever in heaven.
My name is Roger Stump, and I'm a cancer survivor. The surgeon said it's inoperable. It's already in your liver. My wife Brenda sat there and cried, and I'm thinking, I can't die right now. I'm only 52 years old. I was so distraught. I've heard Cancer Treatment Centers of America had experience with pancreatic cancers. It was like night and day. The hospital just breeds an environment of hope. You'd get a CT scan, and the next morning, the results were read to you. We'd go up there, I just knew it was going to be a good result. You could just see the joy on Dr. Granick's face.
Call now and we'll show you how the most compassionate people anywhere put you at the center of everything we do. Together, we'll explore real treatment options you may not even know exist.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is such a different place because they give you hope. I would strongly urge you to call them and get a second opinion.
Please call today.
Welcome back to the 700 Club. Terrorism charges for 2 Iraqis living in the U.S. The men are accused of providing support to al-Qaeda in Iraq. Prosecutors believe they conspired to transport Stinger missiles overseas. 30-year-old Wad Ramadan Alwan and 23-year-old Mohammed Sharif Hamadi live in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, prosecutors identified Alwan as an 8-year member of the Iraqi insurgency. He's accused of planning explosives to kill U.S. troops in Iraq. The 2 could face life in prison if convicted. A British doctor could lose his job for talking to a patient about God. Dr. Richard Scott told a 24-year-old man that Jesus could give him comfort and strength. The patient's mother filed a complaint with the UK Medical Council. She claims the doctor pushed religion on her son. But Dr. Scott denies that and says the patient had no problem at all with the conversation. The council is investigating the complaint, though, and Dr. Scott is 50 years old with an outstanding record. He's never, ever faced a disciplinary action. You can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Pat and Christy will be back with more of the 700 Club after this.
My mirror's not my best friend, but we are getting along. As your weight decreases, your confidence increases.
We interrupt our commercial with this exciting news. Jenny Craig was rated the top diet. Visit thetopdiet.com.
I've lost 30 pounds, and I'm not stopping here.
We repeat, Jenny Craig rated the top diet. Visit thetopdiet.com.
I'm eating Jenny.
Call 1-800-JENNY20 for a special offer, and remember to visit thetopdiet.com.
When you look in the mirror, can you imagine erasing years of aging?
That's what I used to look like.
Lifestyle Lift takes only about an hour. See the difference immediately.
I'm Linda. I'm 70 years old. Can you believe it?
Call now for a free information kit. It's quick, affordable, and takes only about an hour. Lifestyle Lift, a breakthrough medical procedure that helps remove wrinkles, frown lines, and sagging skin. Call now for a free information kit. Consultations are free. Call Lifestyle Lift today.
Tomorrow.
Some people use tears. I didn't trust tears.
A seminary student with a double life.
I had my private world and my real world.
Hear his secret.
I felt like I'm only one step away from being found out.
And his shame.
I would actually carve those words into my body. Loser, failure, rejected.
Tomorrow on the 700 Club. To listen to our top songs of the week, go to CBN Radio at cbn.com.
Well, he's held the unofficial title of Filipino Idol for more than 25 years. His name is Gary Valenciano, or you can call him Gary V, whichever. He's a bad guy. Take a look. Welcome back to the 700 Club, Gary Valenciano. I am so hyped up that you're here.
It's always good to be here.
Oh my goodness. I know you're probably a little bit more calmer than I am, but literally this morning I was listening to your CD all last night and all this morning, and everything from just the beauty of your voice to the heart behind your words. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Which is what makes you so popular for 25 years. You're touring the country right now. Actually, where are you touring?
We just finished Toronto a few nights ago. We'll be in Chicago this coming Friday. On Saturday, we'll be in Anaheim, and then we head out to Sacramento and Vancouver, the week after. So,
gotcha. I did not hear Virginia Beach in there.
No, not
Gary.
Well, I'm here now.
All right, all right, because I want to see a little dancing and singing.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that in time. When I come back, I do hope I can do something here in
That
Virginia
would be
Beach.
wonderful. We saw that setup piece of you just really jamming and dancing. You have so much energy, but you actually have a challenge with diabetes, right?
Yes, I do. I've had diabetes now for 30. Share of challenges, and my wife and I have been through the best and worst of times. She's seen me practically like dead weight, on the bed, reacting to all of these things. But really, God has been good. When the doctor says, the average lifespan of a type 1 diabetic from the day of diagnosis is 30 years, it's been 32 years, and I have no complications whatsoever. So that's the biggest reason why I stand up on stage. I do my pop music, that's how I started, but at the same time I make people know, hey, but that's not what it... artist, but they're made, for everyone who's willing to listen and willing to believe that it is for them.
I love that. You're so vocal about your relationship with the Lord, with
Yes,
Jesus
I am.
Christ, and I love that. And you've transcended many cultures, many ethnicities, but even many religions. There are a lot of Muslims who listen to your music, and
Yes.
you even say, if you go into their house, would not be surprised if your CD was on
That's
their
what
set.
I was told, that, Gary, if you go in, you'll find one of your CDs there, and it's the CDs that are inspirational in nature. So I've had the opportunity to go down south to some of the areas in the Philippines that have been, hit with war and all of that, and to be able to reach out to them, in the beginning they're all very conservative and all, but then later on they drop everything and they start reaching out. And for me, that in itself, is like planting good seed on good soil, which eventually will produce good fruit.
I love that. Speaking of fruit, you have a lot of fans, a lot of wonderful fans all around the world. In fact, we opened up our Facebook page for your fans who had any questions for you, and I think I'm going to read one real quick. Liz wrote in and she said, "Hi, Gary. I'm one of your biggest fans." I'll give her number 2 because right now I'm number 1. She says, "Even my 2-year-old baby Lamara loves you. She calls you Tito Gary."
Oh, yeah.
That's so cute. Is that a nickname?
Tito is like an uncle, and in Manila, when you get to know someone and you kind of get close to that person, you start calling that person Tito.
Gotcha.
Tito or Tita.
I love that. Okay, Tito, Tita. Or Tito, because you're a guy. All right. She says that you have many albums out. She loves your albums. Do you have another album of praise songs? And side note, she says, "Will you please greet my baby Lamara on TV?"
Okay, first, Lamara, hello, how are you? I hope you like the song I'm going to do later on. But with regard to coming up with a CD with praise music, we are actually in the works. We're working on one right now. I actually I came out talking about, the internet and Facebook and Twitter and all. We came up with a shout out wherein I opened up the opportunity for songwriters, whether professional or, non-professional, just to send in their songs. And, maybe, if it doesn't make it to that particular CD, it might make it to the next few CDs. But I think there are so many people that are being touched by God now, and I want to hear the music that's coming out of their hearts, and maybe, we have something in common, something that we can express together, me as an artist, them as a writer, touching countless lives everywhere.
I love that. Well, you have a new CD, or your latest CD is called Replay.
It's called Replay. And what we did here was that we decided to get some songs from past CDs that we felt could have become hits at the time that they were released. But the recording companies had different plans and all. So we're trying to give these songs a second shot. So now they're being replayed. And this one song means a lot to me because it's about the prodigal son, from the prodigal son's point of view. And You know, it's something that I was so excited when I found out I was going to be, you know, in the show today, because I wanted to share this with people all over the world.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm so glad you are. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop talking, Gary, because I can continue to talk to you. I'm just like, oh, lovely.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming back here. And, you know, if I have a concert, you have to be right there in the front seat.
Center. First row. Okay. I'm going to let you sing. Gary CD is called Replay. It's available wherever music is sold. And right now, here's Gary V singing Home.
You never know when, but thieves can steal your identity.
You know, I can save you 15% today if you open up a charge card account with us.
You just read my mind.
Just one little piece of information and they can steal your credit, your money, and ruin your reputation. That's why you need LifeLock, relentlessly protecting your personal information to help stop the crooks before your identity is attacked. Credit monitoring is not enough to protect your identity and only tells you after the fact. But LifeLock's advanced ID alert system directly notifies you, protecting your identity before you become a victim. No one can stop all identity theft. That's why you need the security of our $1 million service guarantee. Call now to try LifeLock risk-free for a full 60 days. If you're not completely satisfied, notify LifeLock and you won't pay a cent. Call 1-800-637-5998 or go to LifeLock.com to try LifeLock risk-free for a full 60 days. Use promo code risk-free. Call 1-800-637-5998 now. LifeLock service guarantee cannot be offered to residents of New York.
I tell you what, I could just have him back just singing more songs.
He's getting better all the time. He really is.
He's phenomenal. You know what I told him backstage? I said, you know what? You have so much flavor. You must have a little black up in you.
Oh, boy. That's what it is, obviously.
You know he's got a little spice. He does. He is phenomenal. All right,
what?
It's time to do some email questions. Fran writes in, and she says, I found out that 3 Christians were praying that my business would fail so that I'd move closer to them. My business did fail. I can't help but wonder if this happened because of their prayers. Would God answer negative prayers like that?
I don't think so. I think your business probably failed just because you weren't doing something right. But, you know, the Bible says a curse causeless shall not lie. And, you know, that was a curse. They were praying a curse on you. That isn't Christian. Not at all. I don't buy that stuff.
They don't sound like really good friends.
No, well, then there's a question. Well, I want to get closer to you.
Yeah,
well,
right?
Well,
Bump
God
that.
can do it a lot of ways. You can close the stuff up, but don't pray curses. I knew some people who used to pray curses. They'd sit around in a group and they'd join hands and they'd pray curses on people. And it was a spirit of witchcraft. And they came after me, and I got so mad I sent the thing back to them, and I said, well, you go back and tear up what you just came from. And it did.
Come on, brother.
Demonic. All right, what else?
All right, one viewer says, recently I found out that my mother miscarried a year before I was born. This news left me with extreme guilt for being alive. My siblings don't have that chance of life. How do I get rid of this guilt? That was interesting.
I hate to say that you got self-imposed guilt. That's nonsense. It's God's plan, and you know that sibling, so-called, didn't like that chick. He didn't have strength enough to live. He may have been born deformed or crippled, or he may have been hypercephalic. I don't know what it was he had, but whatever it was, he wasn't able to live. And so why should you feel guilty about that? It's the way it is in life, you know.
Yeah, sometimes I think just be, you know, that's when you say, Lord, thank you so much that I am alive so that I can, you know, be a blessing to my family and everybody else.
I mean, your mother miscarried. I mean, that's nonsense. I mean, you know, it's self-imposed nonsense. So read the Bible and praise God.
Exactly.
All right.
Precious says, I like that name. I know the Bible states that I have to submit to my husband, but do I still have to submit to him when he's living in constant sin? I'm not sure what to do.
Precious. Hey, they had a movie about a lady named Precious. They did have a movie named Precious,
yeah. It was a deep movie.
Big time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
anyway.
Well, Precious, I like that. All right. A husband and wife living in order. The husband loves the wife, and the wife submits to him as if it's unto the Lord together. Once that husband goes into sin and steps out of, he has lost his authority. And so if he's trying to pull you into an immoral lifestyle, he has no authority whatsoever over you. So no, you don't have to do that. Okay.
That was good.
Anything to set them free. I want to set you free, dear. Tomorrow.
All right, I'm free.
Meet a young man who was addicted to cutting.
Good Lord.
I'm a seminary student. See what made him stop. We leave you today with these words from Luke 12. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's all the time we've got. Our thanks to our dear co-hostess and to Lee Webb and all those who are participating, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Some people use tears. I didn't trust tears.
A seminary student with a double life.
I had my private world and my real world.
Hear his secret.
I felt like I'm only one step away from being found out.
And his shame.
I would actually carve those words into my body. Loser, failure, rejected.
Tomorrow on the 700 Club.
Here at CBN, we see amazing things happen when we stand together.
That's why we want to say thank you to the thousands of you who recently pledged to join the 700 Club.
Your monthly gift makes it possible to bring crucial help to those who need it most.
You help heal the sick, feed the hungry, and preach the gospel across America and throughout the world.
You've brought health and hope to people in desperate need.
And changed their lives forever.
When Kitty was abandoned by her parents, she went to live with her grandmother in the middle of a garbage dump. They ate scraps of food from the dump and tried not to get bitten by the rats. That's when you built them a new home and set up a small clothing business near the market for Kitty's grandmother. You rescued them from hunger and fear.
So please, watch for this mailing and send in your pledge. This year, millions will know
the love and saving power of Jesus Christ.
And that only happens because you were there.